Yo, what's up guys, but I'm fired here back from the video, and today we're going to be bringing you guys another defensive scheme in Madden 22 that I'm a big fan of. You guys showed a lot of support on that last cover 6 invert video I did, so we're going to bring you guys another scheme, and we're going to be hopping back into some man coverage. Going to do a nice mix-up between man and zone from now on, because they're both pretty popular. And we're going to be in the 3-3-5 wide. This is one that I did post, I think, early in the year, but 3-3-5 wide being a little bit more used, so we're going to update things, show some new setups for this play and what you want to do with it. And yeah, man, we're going to be in the 4-6 defensive playbook. Let me know any defensive ebooks you want to see. Could definitely potentially bring some of those. And trust me, those pro player schemes are on the way. We're going to be dropping a ton. I've been getting a ton of requests for a lot of different guys, and we're going to be posting a ton of those. Just wait until the Madden Bowl's done, and then we'll post my plan is to post like 5 or 6. We could even go more depending on what you guys want and how much you enjoy the videos. But 4-6 playbook, get your safeties at linebacker right here. Of course, if you want, you can audible from 3-3-5 to 3-3-5 wide for video's sake and managing time. I'm not going to do that, but that is something that I would recommend doing if you're playing online, you want some extra safeties on your football field. So that is what personally we're going to do. And yeah, let's hop into some gun bunch and get into our actual setup. All right, man, hopping into it, you can leave auto flip on for this defense if you want. We'll go through some of the zone drops that you can rock with, but of course, it's EA, it's Madden 22. We can't get zone drops in practice mode. I've been asking for it all year, but it's just not going to happen, so it is super annoying. It would really be an easy fix, but it is what it is. We move on, and we will continue. But 3-3-5 wide, you're going to go ahead. What I like to do personally is pinch the defense. You can also base a line. It's not something that I'm necessarily a fan of, but as long as you don't baseline press, I think if you baseline pinch, you get that favorable look. If you baseline press, it's going to look like, usually they would go to the outside, I guess, because it's man coverage not, so maybe I'm just dumb and I'm messed up there, but yeah, you can baseline press, I guess, but I would baseline pinch just to get my linebackers, bring everyone inside. That's what we want, a compressed look, crowd the line of scrimmage, especially against bunch. Prevent them from getting easy releases. And yeah, so taking a look at what we have everybody manned up, 4 rushers, 3 receiver hook, and a deep zone. First thing we're going to do is put this A linebacker. He's on an extra blitzer. We're going to throw him in a curl flat zone, get him in a curl flat. The next thing that we're going to do is decide who we want to use for this first setup. Now, you can of course use 2 players. It depends on what you're playing against, but let's say you're going up against someone running bunch trail every play. You're probably going to use the 3 receiver hook, leave this deep zone there so that a deep post doesn't beat you or a streak somehow doesn't beat you, whatever the case may be. In the scenario that you're facing someone who's not really running that deep post setup a lot, maybe he's running more verticals or who knows what the case is, but maybe he's not even running bunch because not everybody runs bunch, something that we need to remember every time. But let's say he's running like a dig return. This would be a situation where I'm fine using Adrian Phillips here from the strong safety position in that deep inside third, and we would be able to go ahead and defend things pretty well here. And again, certain routes are going to be pretty good against man coverage. But again, as long as you have some good corners, you should be able to lock most of that stuff up. Again, I'm pressing. I'm not shooting over the top. We're getting that pressing animation. You notice, I think, with the dig return play, I believe the 3 receiver hook does jump on this and defend it well, I want to say. He actually goes over on B, but you see, you can usually work over on RB. And not many people will leave that double move route out there with X. I think that's Zacchaeus over there. That's Tajay Sharp, rather. A lot of times with dig return, you're getting setups like this, so don't be too worried about that. But again, there's really just not too many good plays in bunch that really beat verticals or really beat man coverage. I mean, really, you need crossing routes. Even zigs are bagged pretty dang well by man coverage. Really, your most reliable thing is a deep post, and that's why a lot of times I might be a little bit skeptical to actually take away this inside third because I know it's coming. They see man coverage. Bunch trail is always the go-to. I don't care who you're playing against. You're seeing a lot of bunch trail. So that is why we're a little bit skeptical to do that. And again, we have a curl flat on the right, so I'm not too worried about any routes really going from left to right, like a corner route. Who knows what else? Maybe an out route. And again, leaving that at default is going to play pretty dang well. So really, we're just worried about any crossers from right to left. And the assumption that they go with like verticals. Again, we're just going to go ahead, user over here with the RB. You notice how that curl flat, that's a stock curl flat. And he's more or less actually taking away Cordell Patterson on his route. Now, again, you're not generally really going to get pressure. Usually with the 3-man rush, you'll split a double team and get pretty quick pressure, actually. I'm not sure why this below average Falcons offensive line is actually stonewalling us, but going back to the point with this curl flat stock are actually pretty dang good this year. I've been running them a lot. You notice that they actually really just follow zones, actual routes in their zones, and they don't really play. They don't really, run to 15, 10 yards and sit there. They actually can lurk over. So you see, if your opponent goes through his read, what's his first read? Probably the running back. He looks at this. The odds are he's not going to throw that unless he's blind, which is a possibility. And again, he might have some other things, but even this verticals route, that is pretty good. You see it's more or less caged. With Acrobat, if you throw this, there's a high chance it's intercepted, even without my user. Again, just with Jalen Mills and Russell Gage there, it's a high chance it's picked off. So again, pretty good defense. Also, one thing to watch out, you're playing against bunch. What do you got to watch out for? You got to watch out for the wheel routes, and usering over on this left side is going to do a pretty good job at allowing you to do that. So again, we know about the wheel routes. They set up a wheel. Like here, we can actually user it, but you notice that the wheels will be open against man coverage if you do not user them, and they could throw that all game. That's why I like to have acrobats at that spot, so that sometimes I'll catch it, and sometimes he'll get a pick. So again, I'm coming out in 3-3-5 normal, audibling the 3-3-5 wide, and then I go ahead and I throw an acrobat safety at this position right here. If you really do want to use linebackers, you can potentially throw a lurker over there. Less AP usually for acrobats. That's what I'm going to rock with, but that will do a pretty good job at taking away. We know that they cannot necessarily be taken away completely, but it should be the best defense, I would have to guess. So again, this is a pretty good setup. And of course, who knows what the play is, but if we don't have to worry about that, I'm just going to go ahead and user Adrian Phillips over here. And there you see a good example of the 3-rec hook, taking away the in route. Everything else defended really well. And again, zigs are one of the best routes. Whip routes, one of the best routes to beat man coverage. But when you man them up, you press them, you put a body on it, you notice that again, it's pretty good. And even here, we didn't really get the press animation. I'm not sure why that was the case, but for whatever reason, I don't think anybody pressed here, actually. And maybe it was because I had my linebackers spreaded. I'm not exactly sure what the reasoning is, but usually that zig is caged without it. So I'm actually going to set it up again. Baseline pinch. See if we can actually get a true press animation here. I'm again, no idea why we didn't last time. But again, the only downfall to kind of starting your user over here is you're going to have to worry about the wheel routes. Now, a simple fix to the wheel routes, if you wanted to get a little bit glitchy, is you can throw Y in a vert hook, potentially. And he's going to kind of play a good place here. Set the zone drops to about 5 yards on these vert hooks / hook curls. Another thing you can do is, if I like the vert hook a little bit better, we can throw him on there and then just man up McCourty on Cordell Patterson. Simple enough. And then again, set your vert hooks to like 5 yards. That's even 5 or 0 yards, because they like to throw them on break. I would probably go 5 yards. And then again, we'll set it up. And there you see a lot better press animation. You see B absolutely bagged our 3 receiver hook, and that was actually a vert hook over on that side. Doing a really good job. And you notice the player that's made up on the running back in situations where the running back doesn't go out on routes. He's going to sit there in the middle of the field, be a pretty good QB spy for those guys who love to scramble with Derrick Henry every single play. But here's an ideal coverage with Jonathan Jones on your zig route, and you see pretty good defense there. Now, it's not a good receiver, but good defense. And even this double move, which you saw, pretty good. It did beat us on that one play. You see really, really good defense. And I know that's a mismatch corner. And then again, the vert hook does a pretty good job at actually sitting in that spot. Stock, again, we would have that zone drop adjusted, but we would also be able to take away a little low ball in a certain spot when we do that particular adjustment. So pretty good stuff. Now again, as far as putting other zones on the field with this, you're kind of limited in what you want to do. You usually want to rush at least 3 people. That's my rule of thumb. I don't really like going to a two-man rush, especially with Escape Artist this year. It can work, but I don't like playing that style of defense. I feel like that's just not a cool way to play defense, and I always feel bad when I do that. So you're kind of limited in what you can do as far as that's concerned. Again, realistically, we could actually curl flat over here. Maybe we put A in, I don't know what you would do. Maybe an adjustment you could do is actually man up A on A, this linebacker here, which again, this guy's going to be a safety. You could put Duggar in a middle third, and then you could actually use her Adrian Phillips. So if you wanted to curl flat the other side for particular plays like, I don't know, verticals, this would be pretty good for that. And again, you're able to use her on this right side instead. So you don't have the curl flat on the right. And again, if you're doing that, you're probably setting that zone drop up all the way to almost 25 or 30 yards, if I had to guess. So that's probably going to be my adjustment for that particular play. And again, I'll show that baseline pinch, man up that A linebacker on A, put Y in an inside third or a middle third, and then put your free safety here in a curl flat zone. And again, you can use her free, whatever you want. We can use her the curl flat or probably the middle of the field. So here you see wheel route, bagged. I don't know how he caught it when I actually threw that to the wheel route, but overall, just a good way to flip your coverage. And again, it's not too many adjustments. That's why I like teaching man coverage a lot, because I don't have to go too complicated. I don't have to go answer 20 comments on how the setup is run, because you're really only making 3-4 adjustments at the most. And overall, it should be a pretty simple setup to get down. So let me know if you want to see more of these man coverages. We can, of course, get a little bit more adjusty depending on the formation. But again, man coverage is limited on how you can really flip it. You really can only adjust 3-4 zones at the most, because you're immediately keeping 3 corners, and you will obviously want everybody manned up. So that's going to do the video. Check out all my links down below. Follow me on Twitter to stay updated. I post on Twitter every single time I upload. So if your notifications aren't working, follow Twitter, turn on notifications on there. Sorry about that. Follow me on TikTok. Gonna try and start posting more TikToks. Hopefully I'll actually record one after this. Post it up. So follow me on TikTok. And yeah, it's gonna do a video. Peace. I'm out of here.